Listen closely, because this is not an ordinary message. This is not noise. This is not some echo from the crowd. This is a summons, the kind that shakes the ground beneath your hesitation, the kind that calls out to something ancient inside you, something holy, something dangerous, something unstoppable. You didn't stumble here. You were summoned here. Every battle, every silence, every sleepless night was an invitation to this moment. You are too anointed to fail. They tried to bury you because they didn't understand you were a seed. You felt the weight of dirt, the silence of darkness, the pressure of being unseen. But what they didn't know was that heaven had planted you, and what's planted by divine design cannot be buried by human hands. You have no clue what's covering you. You thought it was just struggle. You thought it was pain. You thought it was loneliness. But what's covering you isn't defeat. It's divine protection. God hid you in plain sight. There are warriors assigned to your name, not people, not flesh and blood, but unseen soldiers of light that move when you move, that whisper when you doubt, that guard when you grow weary. You have no clue what's covering you. You have no clue who's fighting for you when you sleep. You don't see the things that should have destroyed you because they were cancelled before they reached you. Heaven intercepted every dart. Every plot was dismantled before it took form. You are too anointed to fail. The oil on your name cannot dry up just because you feel forgotten. You were marked before you were known, chosen before you were seen. The kind of choosing that doesn't ask for permission and doesn't require validation. Some of you are walking through seasons where nothing makes sense. You keep saying, "Why is it so heavy? Why is it so hard? Why can't I just quit?" But that's the proof of your anointing. Pressure only visits those who carry promise. There are forces that only rise when you rise. Shadows that move when you move. Because you are a threat to everything small, everything false, everything temporary. You carry too much eternity in your breath to be ordinary. You carry the fingerprints of divine assignment. The world will call it coincidence, but heaven calls it covering. And I need you to hear me. This covering isn't soft. It's not delicate. It's warfare. When you think you're being broken, heaven is actually building armor around you. When people walk away, heaven removes their access because not everyone is allowed near oil. Some are drawn to the light, but allergic to the cost. God will allow disconnection so you don't drag delay into your destiny. You're not losing people. You're losing weight. You're not being forgotten. You're being fortified. You're not in a valley. You're in a vault. God hides his greatest treasures in darkness until the right moment to reveal them. So when it feels like nobody sees you, it's not punishment, it's protection. You're being refined away from eyes that would mishandle your value. You are too anointed to fail. And that anointing isn't loud, it's ancient. It's the same force that parted seas and whispered to storms. It doesn't shout to be known, it just is. That's why sometimes you feel misunderstood, because anointing doesn't speak the language of ordinary. You talk vision, they hear arrogance. You talk purpose, they hear delusion. But you can't shrink your calling to fit their comfort. There's something heaven has written over you, and no human word can erase it. It's written in the ink of eternity, and no rumor, no lie, no betrayal, no delay can change what's already sealed. The ink is dry, the verdict is in, cancelled. Every curse, every plot, every fear, cancelled. You didn't just survive that last storm, you were upgraded in it. You came out carrying authority. You are walking proof that storms don't drown the chosen, they reveal them. That's why certain battles found you, because heaven needed to show you who you are under pressure. You didn't discover your strength in comfort. You discovered it when everything fell apart. You thought the storm was punishment. It was actually your unveiling. You have no clue what's covering you. There are angels with swords drawn when you walk into rooms you don't even belong in. There are spiritual signatures that move before you speak. Doors open not because you're qualified, but because you're covered. People respect you and can't explain why, because what they feel isn't you, it's what's on you. There's a fragrance of divine favor that follows you through rejection. That's why closed doors don't sting the way they used to, because even rejection is now divine redirection. When they said you were finished, heaven laughed. When they walked away, heaven sent reinforcements. You cried thinking it was over, but your tears watered the ground for your next season. You didn't know it, but every heartbreak became a seed for wisdom. Every betrayal became an ingredient for discernment. Every loss carved room for greater capacity. You have no clue what's covering you, and maybe that's the point. If you saw what's fighting for you, you'd never fear again. This is not a season to doubt yourself. This is a season to remember what you carry. The oil doesn't fade just because your environment changes. The calling doesn't dissolve because the crowd disappeared. Some of you think you're in isolation, but heaven calls it incubation. You're being prepared. You're being taught the language of silence. You're being conditioned to move by spirit, not applause. You have no clue what's covering you. There are moments you should have lost your mind, but peace covered you. You should have fallen apart, but grace held you. You should have broken, but purpose built you stronger. You are too anointed to fail and too covered to collapse. That's why the enemy doesn't attack what you have. He attacks what you believe. If he can't take your gift, he'll try to silence your confidence. But today, you rise different. You rise knowing that even your weakness is protected. Even your flaws are covered. The same God that called you, equipped you, the same voice that spoke destiny over your life is still speaking. Heaven doesn't revoke what it releases. You are not a mistake trying to become a miracle. You are a miracle walking through the process of becoming undeniable. And when you start to feel the pressure again, don't curse it. That's the sound of elevation. The weight is proof that heaven trusts you with responsibility. The resistance is a sign that your next level is real. You have no clue what's covering you, but you're about to see glimpses of it. Signs that you are not alone. Synchronicities that confirm divine orchestration. Favor that doesn't make sense. That's not coincidence. That's covenant. You are too anointed to fail. Even if they count you out, heaven's count still includes you. Even if the door shuts, the kingdom still has keys. You don't need everyone to see you. You just need heaven to send the right ones who recognize the oil. You don't chase validation. You attract divine alignment. You're not begging for space. You're being built for rain. You have no clue what's covering you. That delay that frustrated you was actually heaven rearranging paths. That detour that broke your heart was God removing danger ahead. That pause wasn't punishment. It was positioning. Sometimes God slows you down so he can send reinforcement. You thought it was over, but you were just being covered for correction. And the world will see soon that your silence wasn't surrender, it was strategy. That your tears weren't weakness, they were intercession. That your pain wasn't pointless, it was preparation. You are too anointed to fail. Every attack was a disguised advertisement of your destiny. Every loss was heaven's way of saying, watch what I do next. You are not behind. You are being aligned. You are not forgotten. You are being fortified. You are not under attack. You are under construction. You are too anointed to fail, and the verdict over your future is still the same. Cancelled. Every assignment of destruction, cancelled. Every whisper of doubt, cancelled. Every voice that said you're done, cancelled. Because what's on you cannot be undone. The oil flows even in darkness. The anointing shines even in silence. The covering stands even in chaos. You are too anointed to fail, and heaven is still sending warriors to cover you. Breathe for a moment and listen to what silence is trying to tell you. Every pause in your story carries a message. You were never waiting alone. While you were questioning, warriors were already moving. Heaven does not need your permission to protect you. You think nothing is happening, but the invisible is always busier than the visible. You have no clue what's covering you. The air around you hums with purpose, and even when you sleep, the assignment does not. The path you walk is not ordinary ground. It was carved before time began. When you took your first step, the map adjusted itself to your destiny. That is why some doors slam so violently. They were never drawn on your map. That is why some people couldn't stay. They were never written into your chapter. The covering of God does not waste protection on what cannot remain. It preserves only what will carry the light forward. You have cried prayers that sounded like surrender, but heaven translated them into strategy. You whispered, I'm done, and angels heard, prepare the next move. You said, I can't, and the throne replied, watch me. Every word of despair has been intercepted, rewritten, and returned to you as strength. You have no clue what's covering you. You only see the aftermath. You never see the interception. Every threat that rose against you has already been reviewed, weighed, and cancelled. Every storm that formed around you had to ask permission. First, every shadow that tried to approach you met light it could not comprehend. You are too anointed to fail. The oil is not seasonal, it's eternal. It is not dependent on your mood, it flows. Because heaven decreed it. That decree cannot expire. There is a sound that follows you, though the world cannot hear it. The sound of divine backing. It echoes when you speak truth. It thunders when you take one more step after you wanted to quit. It hums quietly when you forgive instead of fight. That sound shakes dimensions, and it announces to darkness, hands off, this one is covered. You have no clue what's covering you, but the enemy knows. That's why he's nervous. That's why confusion tries to cloud your mind, because clarity is power, and you are dangerously close to remembering who you are. You were never meant to blend in. You were built to break patterns. That is why comfort feels foreign to you. Destiny does not rest on soft pillows. It walks on sharpened stones. The pain you felt was not punishment. It was proof of capacity. The heavier the calling, the deeper the cuts. Yet even the wounds are sealed in oil. You are too anointed to fail, even when you bleed, especially when you bleed. Because the fragrance of your endurance reaches heaven like worship. And when you move forward again, even trembling, the atmosphere adjusts. Some of you think you're taking small steps, but those steps shake invisible gates. You don't realize how much weight your obedience carries. You have no clue what's covering you. Whole generations are hidden inside your yes. Entire lineages are being rewritten because you refuse to collapse. Look around at the silence. It is not emptiness. It is the stillness before revelation. Heaven never shouts before it moves. It whispers, then manifests. The covering that surrounds you is strategic. It shields you from premature exposure. You keep asking for visibility, but God is ensuring stability. A light that rises too soon burns out too fast. So He is teaching you endurance in the shadows, because crowns are heavy and only the prepared can carry them. You have no clue what's covering you. When you were broken, grace was building scaffolding around your heart. When you were afraid, angels were rehearsing victory songs. When you doubted your own voice, heaven tuned it to a higher frequency. Every hesitation has been converted into strength, every setback into setup. You are too anointed to fail, because failure would require heaven to retract its word, and heaven never lies. The same God who began this story will finish it with precision. The pages ahead are not blank, they are simply sealed until you arrive. And when you get there, they will open as if they've been waiting for your hands. Even now, heaven is sending warriors to cover you, not in shining armor, but in ordinary moments. The friend who checks on you, the stranger who speaks life, the sudden peace that falls in the middle of chaos. These are warriors too. You have no clue what's covering you. Every breath of hope, every quiet strength that visits you when you least expect it, is proof that heaven has not stepped away. The enemy thought exhaustion would end you, but exhaustion is not defeat. It is simply evidence that you've been fighting for something real. Rest is not quitting. Rest is reloading. And as you rest, the covering tightens. The oil seeps deeper into your bones. The warriors reposition. You are not falling apart. You are being fortified. Listen. The wind is changing direction. The same storms that once opposed you are now carrying you. The same darkness that tried to bury you is now the backdrop for your shine. You are too anointed to fail, because failure would dishonor the one who sent you. And God does not invest in defeat. His return is always victory. You have no clue what's covering you. The breath you take when you think you can't go on is borrowed strength. The idea that suddenly appears when you're out of solutions is divine whisper. The timing that keeps saving you is not luck, it's orchestration. You are surrounded by purpose so thick that even your mistakes are being redirected into miracles. There will come a day when you look back and realize that the very season that almost destroyed you became the foundation of your authority. People will ask how you survived, and you'll smile, because how do you explain being covered by something you could never see? You'll just say, "Grace found me again." You are too anointed to fail. Your name is engraved in endurance. Your future is woven with promise. And every weapon that forms will crumble before it reaches you. You have no clue what's covering you, but soon you will. You will see signs that confirm protection, moments that prove favor, peace that makes no sense. You will stand in the middle of what once scared you and realize it bowed to the power within you. The world will watch and wonder how you keep rising. Let them wonder. Answer is simple. Covered. You are covered when you wake, covered when you weep, covered when you walk into unknown places. Heaven's hand never withdraws. Even silence is a form of guidance. Even delay is divine defense. You have no clue what's covering you, but it's working, it's winning, it's weaving glory out of everything that tried to break you. So breathe again, lift your head, straighten your back. The storm that terrified you is now your transportation. The valley that drained you is now your vineyard. The night that hid you is now your platform. You are too anointed to fail. You are the living evidence that divine purpose cannot be cancelled, and every voice that said otherwise has already been silenced by truth. You have no clue what's covering you, but the moment you finally see it, you'll understand why nothing made sense until now. Every detour, every heartbreak, every hidden year was choreography. Heaven's choreography. You were never abandoned. You are being aligned. And now, as you step forward, let this echo follow you. I am covered. I am chosen. I am too anointed to fail. Say it until your bones believe it. Whisper it until your fears forget how to answer. Because this is not just motivation, it's activation. The kingdom inside you is awakening. The warriors are already moving. The covering is already thickening. And every attempt to stop you is already cancelled. You are walking into days where favor will outnumber fear, into moments where peace will outrun pressure, into seasons where purpose will outshine pain. The covering is real. The oil is permanent. The anointing is irreversible. You are too anointed to fail. And even when you don't feel it, remember this truth. You have no clue what's covering you, but heaven does. And heaven never misses. Now listen, there comes a point when revelation has to become motion. You have carried words long enough. Now they must turn into footsteps. The ground beneath you has been waiting for the weight of your decision. Every promise you've heard is leaning forward, ready to unfold. But heaven will not finish what you refuse to start. You are too anointed to stand still. Every day you breathe is another announcement that your purpose still has work to do. The covering that surrounds you is not meant to keep you hidden forever. It's meant to give you the courage to walk into what's already yours. You have no clue what's covering you. That's why the next door will open without explanation. It will look impossible until you touch it, and then it will swing wide as if it knew your name. You thought you were small, but small does not exist in the language of destiny. Every seed contains forests. Every whisper carries thunder. When you move, heaven multiplies your motion. The warriors assigned to you don't follow crowds, they follow calling. And as you take a single step forward, ranks of light move beside you. Feel the ground under your feet. That's not weakness trembling. That's authority waking up. You have cried enough tears for lessons already learned. Now, those tears become oil, and that oil becomes fuel. You are too anointed to fail. The mistakes of yesterday are not chains. They are maps that taught you what pitfalls look like. Carry the wisdom, not the weight. You have no clue what's covering you, but soon the atmosphere will reveal it. The way people will respond to your presence will change. You will walk into rooms and peace will follow, like a shadow. You will speak simple words and heavy hearts will find relief. That is what anointing does. It translates pain into power, darkness into design. There is a sound rising from your silence. It's the sound of redemption echoing through time. Every season that broke you left behind a melody, and heaven is weaving those melodies into a song of victory. When that song plays, even your enemies will have to listen. They will realize that nothing they did could erase what was written. You are too anointed to fail, and the world needs the light that hides inside your scars. Stop waiting for perfect conditions. The moment will never feel ready because it's meant to be reached by faith, not comfort. Step forward anyway. Speak, even when your voice shakes. Act, even when your hands tremble. Every movement of courage opens a new layer of covering. You have no clue what's covering you. It's not just protection, it's partnership. The divine is not only guarding you, it's co-creating with you. When you dream, heaven sketches blueprints. When you act, heaven builds foundations. When you rest, heaven maintains momentum. You are not carrying this alone. Lift your eyes. The horizon that once looked empty is starting to glow. That glow is not illusion, it's invitation. The next chapter of your story has been waiting for your agreement. Whisper it now. I agree with my calling. I agree with my covering. I agree with victory. The moment you say it, the atmosphere takes note.